Welcome back to Missoula County's Tip of the Spear. I'm Commissioner Juanita Vera with Commissioner Josh Slotnick, and today we have Senior Planner Andrew Hagemeyer from our Community and Planning Services.
We're having Andrew join us today because right now the county is going through a pretty big rezoning effort. That's the result of a couple of years of work, and we're having Andrew here to explain what's going on.
Let's start with the background here. Missoula County zoning regulations were adopted in 1976, over 40 years ago. Zoning is supposed to be an implementation of our community's vision, what we want to see our community become. 40 years ago, our vision was much different than it was today. I would say that our regulations today, that are in place today, are a reflection of a vision from 1976. We have a lot of different issues and opportunities that we're facing today in our community than we were 40 years ago, and we need our regulations to reflect that. And so we're updating the Missoula County zoning regulations, which affect an area roughly from Bonner out west to the Y, the Rattlesnake Wilderness, down to Miller Creek. So this isn't a change for all of Missoula County, but it's really what we call the Missoula Valley, or sometimes people refer to it as the Missoula urban area, although a lot of it's not urban at all. This zoning effort does not affect the city of Missoula. Jurisdictionally, we both have our own zoning.
And this is the result of 6-7 years of work that's been in place since 2016 with
yes.
the comprehensive master plan.
So in 2016, we adopted a growth policy for all of Missoula County, and that said we needed to get our act together in terms of land use management. We had not done a ton of land use planning in the county up until that point, proactive planning, and so what it called for was to break the county up into sections based off of a number of factors. And obviously the Missoula area, this area that we're talking about that the zoning regulations will affect, that's 80%. 8 out of every 10 people that move to Missoula County end up in that area.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's where the vast majority of our growth is. So it's really where we're having to do the most management in terms of land use, and so that's why we're focusing on this area. That strategy was set up in the growth policy. And after we adopted the growth policy, we started working on what's called the Missoula Area Land Use Element, and that was over a 2-year-long public process, multiple rounds of engagement, visioning, conversations about what we wanted our community to look like, what our values are, what our issues are, what our opportunities are.
I remember when we approved it, I witnessed people who were pretty much always diametrically opposed on land use issues agreeing on what was in the land use element.
So that document had a number of different things that we needed to do. It's like the Build Grant came out of that. The Swiptakine Master Plan came out of that. One of the main things that came out of it was we need to update our zoning regs. We need to take our zoning regs that were written in 1976. Well, they were written in 1974, they were adopted in 1976, and we needed to start over because it no longer reflected our community's values.
And what are those values, like the kind of the guiding values for the zoning update?
Yeah, absolutely. So people want an affordable place to live. Was very strongly stated as we went through our process in the Missoula Area Land Use Element.
And a diversity of options for housing stock.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about having the whole valley fill up with single-family homes. People wanted a diversity of housing options, so they'd have different housing choices at different points in their life. College kids don't need a 3,000 square foot house. Retirees also don't necessarily need or want a 3,000 square foot house. So we need a lot of options in our housing.
Thinking about what people need, for a lot of folks in Missoula County, housing is a crucial issue.
Yeah.
They're seeing this as kind of the economic and cultural issue of our time. And simultaneously, people who have chosen to live here and now struggling to find housing chose to be here in part because of the wonderful access to public land, public water, generally natural resources that we have at our disposal. How do we blend resource protection with creating new housing?
An elegant zoning code.
Yeah. Yeah, it's finding balance in the code. I mean, that's really what it's about. And that's the great thing about updating our code and really starting from scratch is we get to try to create that balance, and we're not pigeonholed into what the code from 1974 tried zonal line.
Generally, if we sort of speak thematically about this new zoning code, basically we're intensifying and diversifying development where we feel development makes the most sense,
Right.
and simultaneously protecting resources that the community has said we value.
Yep, and in all that, we're trying to maintain the character of these places
Beautiful.
to be unique neighborhoods.
So how do people comment on the
Yeah.
the proposed zone?
What's the website again?
It's www.mczoningupdate.com. We are also putting copies in the Missoula library, so if you don't have the internet, you can get copies here. And we're also going to put the zoning map up in the library, and people can come in and look at the zoning
Thanks a
map.
ton for coming by.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you for checking us out. See you later.